All right, so here we are. We're going to wrap it up here with the last seminar of the day. And it is riding the technology wave, and there is quite a wave of technology in the last handful of years. And just for future reference, especially on the video, we're going to go ahead and say that this is being filmed in January of 2023. Because in January of 2024, this would be a different seminar. In January of 2025, this would be a different seminar again, because the technology is going to evolve and it's going to move forward at a very fast rate. So you kind of have to ride the wave. So let's get into it there, Riz. We've come a long ways. So when we talk about technology in general, technology has made advancements in every industry. I mean, from making cars to whatever you want to do. I mean, we're talking about a full-blown computer that's right here in my pocket that can essentially do anything that a big computer can do. 20 years ago, people would have laughed at you if they said that was going to be possible. They would have just totally laughed at you. But to kind of get technical into the I've always heard of the Moore's Law, but I didn't totally understand it until I looked it up. I knew it had to do with technology, but the Moore's Law suggests that technology, this is the theory, and it's been proven true ever since the 1960s, that technology doubles every 2 years, and it does so because the number of transistors in a microchip essentially doubles every 2 years. So that's a lot, every 2 years. So when you go to from 10, to 20, and then it just multiplies every 2 years. So since the 60s, it just continues to go. And so now when we're talking about hundreds of thousands, then 200s of thousands, the capacity for that technology and the things that can happen, as you can see, just get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. It's pretty amazing. But to kind of relate it back to bass fishing, let's go back to the start of bass fishing. And when people started bass fishing in general is really in the early 1900s, as far as I can tell. I mean, I was looking through, the world record bass was caught in the 30s, in the Depression, 20s, 30s. The Perry bass from South Georgia is kind of a wild deal. I think that was really kind of when bass fishing really started to elevate. It's when there was all of this discussion of a world record bass. And then fast forward to when the beginning of BASS was in 1971. Ray Scott over here on the right side, invented tournament bass fishing as we know it. That was a big deal. That whole concept was totally new. And then of course it's evolved and spun off all these different lures. And I mentioned BASS because the tournament bass fishing has really been the driver of a lot of the technology we're using. So we'll see as we progress here, tournament bass fishing has driven a lot of it that all anglers get to benefit from. And that's kind of what I said there in that last bullet. Next. So first we're going to start off with the hand tools. And the hand tools are the things that we use to catch the fish, not the electronics or the boats or any of that stuff. The hand tools are the rods. So I just kind of wanted to cover a number of these items. Rods, they have gone from metal rods, metal poles, things that looked like an old car antenna were the initial early fishing rods. I've got one of them in my office. It's pretty cool. And they have gone from that to fiberglass rods, which are heavy and cumbersome and not very sensitive, to now they are super light, very high modulus graphite rods. And modulus means the number of fibers are very, very tight, so that makes them light and sensitive at the same time. To all these graphite rods, so if you look at the where it started to where it's at now, it's just a huge jump. And so the technology has allowed us to do that. In each of these categories going forward, we're going to see this kind of progress that we've made. The reels have gone from basically sewing thread around a spool to super intricate reels that have more parts in them than a daggone watch.